everyone. Hello and welcome in. It is Wednesday, week 9 of the NFL season is officially upon us, beginning tomorrow with the Thursday night football game between the Jets and the Colts. I honest to God almost forgot to make this video, but it is once again Wednesday. It's time for our weekly routine of the NFL Pickem series. I will be making all of my picks on the whiteboard here today. So if you're new here, there's a few new people this week. Say hello to the whiteboard. It is the stapled feature of the weekly NFL Pick'em series so that you can follow along. A nice little visual aid to keep track of my selections. And as I go through each game, I will be indicating which team I am selecting to win in this head-to-head matchup by putting these magnetic pennants under the team that I am choosing to win. So if you're new here, you'll sort of get the whole gist of the situation as we go through the video. But for those of you that are not, welcome back for another week of the NFL Pick'em series. So before I get into making my selections this week, let's do a recap of what happened last week and where I stand overall on the season. So last week was the worst week that I have done so far. It is my first sub 500 week of the season. It took 8 weeks for it to happen, but it finally did. And unfortunately, it was massively bad. The teams that I missed: the Cardinals, Falcons, Lions, Bengals, Chargers, Jaguars, football team, Bucks, Vikings, Chiefs. I struck out hard and picking 10 games incorrectly. So the teams that I did get correct were the Bills, 49ers, Steelers, Titans, and the Rams. Oh, God. So that unfortunately brings my weekly total to 5-10. So I had a 5-10 record last week, and that brings my total on the season to 74-48. So still got a healthy total for the year. 74-48 is not bad, but it took a big hit over this past week because I wasn't even trying to pick that many upsets. I've just got faith in the wrong teams, apparently. So we're going to try to remedy that this week. I'm going to toss the notebook over there because we don't need that anymore. And I'm going to make some selections this week that will hopefully get us back on track to our winning ways that I've been doing so far. So without further ado, let's get into making picks. I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible because it is late tonight and this upload is going to go up super late. So I got other things to do. Long story short. So Thursday night football, Colts and Jets. The Jets screwed me over last week because I had the Bengals in the survival pool. So I have the way that ours operates is that you get 3 strikes and you're out. So this will be my first. That was my first. That was my first strike of the season. I'm gonna risk it again. I'm gonna risk it, and I'm gonna pick the Colts because I think Carson Wentz is playing well enough for this team to get in his backpack and beat the Jets on prime time. I don't think we're gonna see that kind of game from Mike White 2 weeks in a row. That'd be weird. Next, we have the Browns and the Bengals. I don't know what to make of the Browns this season. They're 4-4 on the year. The offense looks bad. Baker Mayfield is playing injured. The Odell Beckham Jr. saga has probably hit a turning point with Cleveland. Reports are that he has been told to go home and stay home for the rest of the season as their general manager and his agent work out what the next step is in this relationship. But it seems to me like they're committed to burning one spot on their 53-man roster because they can't trade him now. Trade deadline is passed. And they would incur, I think, a significant dead money cap hit if they were to just straight up cut him. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen, but this team looks fractured. It's very injured. The injury list is still pretty long. The Bengals are for real. I don't know what happened last week with the New York Jets. The Jets have 2 wins over the Titans and the Bengals. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to say that that's not an accurate reflection of what the Bengals are this year. I'm going to pick them to win this division rivalry game against the Browns. Next, we have the Broncos and the Cowboys. I don't know what to make of the Broncos, but it looks like they're probably folding for the season. They have traded Von Miller to the LA Rams in a blockbuster trade, loading up on draft picks for next year, still paying $9 million of Von Miller's $9.7 million salary, so that's fun. The Cowboys are for real, unfortunately. We all experienced that bitterness last Sunday night, but it looks like Dak Prescott will be back. If Cooper Rush can do that to the Minnesota Vikings, imagine what Dak Prescott is going to do to the Denver Broncos. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys here on this one. I'm not going to try to be cute or fancy, going pretty with the heavy favorites. Next, we have the Texans, the Dolphins. I don't know who the favorite is in this matchup. This is going to be probably the least watched game of the weekend. It's not really a great slate of games for this weekend, but there are some interesting ones. This is not one of them. It looks like Tua Tagovailoa is dealing with another injury. If he is out, I am going to be screwed because I don't know. I just don't know if I can go with the Texans. I don't know if Tyrod Taylor is coming back. I'm just going to stick with the Dolphins. I still think it's the better team, despite what their record says and how they've played this year. I think Brian Flores is going to get in some hot water if he loses this one. Next, we have the Falcons and the Saints. Jameis Winston has been lost for the season. Calvin Ridley has asked to be to leave the team temporarily as he deals with personal matter. It's been hard times for both teams this year, although the Saints do look like they're motivated and doing fine. I don't know about Taysom Hill playing quarterback this week with his whole coming off the concussion thing. Michael Thomas has also announced that he will have another surgery. He will not be able to play this year, even though they expected him back. They expected him to come back at about sometime around now. I don't know. It feels like the Falcons could probably win here. I'm going to go with the Saints because I think Sean Payton, as much as I don't like him, is the one of the better head coaches in the league. Next, we have the Raiders and the Giants. The Raiders have lost Henry Ruggs for the rest of his career after his terrible decision to drink and drive the other night. I think that they're interested in Odell Beckham Jr. according to reports, so maybe that is something that they pursue in the next few weeks. That's not going to help them this week, although I think that the Giants aren't up to their level, so I'm going to go with the Raiders here. I think this is an easy one to pick. Moving on, we have the Panthers and the Patriots. Christian McCaffrey has been designated to return from IR, but it looks like he is not going to be ready for this game, so it'll be Chuba Hubbard filling in once again. The Patriots quietly having a decent season. Mac Jones quietly having a decent season as well. I think that the Patriots are good enough to take care of the Panthers. I think Bill Belichick is going to want to make it known that he is not going to lose to a former college football head coach, at least not this time. Next, we have the Bills and the Jaguars. I don't have much analysis for this one. The Jaguars are a basement team fighting for a top 5 draft pick. The Bills are on to bigger and better things. They'll take care of business. Ravens and Vikings. This is an interesting one because the Vikings are coming off a loss. They're facing heavy criticism this week from myself included and all of us. This screams trap game for the Ravens because the Vikings shouldn't be in this. They're 5.5-point underdogs. The Ravens are clearly an offense that is unique enough to be able to shred the Vikings defense that is having problems defending the run and the pass now with the loss of Danielle Hunter and Patrick Peterson. So, I mean, it has win written all over it for the Ravens. I'm not going to pick the upset. I picked the Vikings to beat the Cowboys last week, and since I post these every Wednesday, I had no idea Dak Prescott wasn't going to play. It was rumored that he was questionable, but I had no idea it was going to be Cooper Rush at the time that I predicted the Vikings to beat the Cowboys. Ended up being wrong. I'm not going to do that again because the Vikings proved to me that they're not the good team. I said last week, I will pick the Vikings because, the Cowboys are a good team. Everybody tells me the Vikings are a good team. Good teams beat good teams. Didn't happen. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think this is one of the first times that I haven't picked the Vikings this year on this series. We'll see what happens. If I'm wrong, I guess I'm happy because that means we won a game. Next, we have the Chargers and the Eagles. The Eagles are kind of a dumpster fire. I expect this to be a get-right game for the Chargers. They've suffered their last 2 of their last 3 weeks. Sandwiched inside of that was the bye week. So they're 4-3. I think that they'll move up to 5-3 after they beat the Eagles. Next, we have the Packers going up against the Chiefs, and the whole saga today was Aaron Rodgers lying about his vaccination status as he tested positive for COVID-19, and he will miss the upcoming game against the Chiefs. So it will be the Jordan Love show. I don't know what the status is of his wide receivers, if Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard are going to be coming back for this one. He still has Aaron Jones, so that's good news. Robert Tonyan has been lost for the season with a torn ACL. The Chiefs are having a down year, super down year for Patrick Mahomes with all of the turnovers, some of them obviously not his fault. I don't know if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming back for the Chiefs. They did not trade for Marlon Mack, which I thought they were going to do, and RIP my fantasy team with that idea going forward. I don't know. I feel like the Packers are going to somehow sneak this one out, and we're going to be having this weird, chaotic conversation about Jordan Love, and then on the other side of it, the Chiefs can't win this year, probably not going to the playoffs. I don't know. I'm going to embrace chaos. I'm going to pick the Packers, even though this is kind of going against my mentality this week of not picking the underdogs, because clearly I think the Packers should be an underdog without Aaron Rodgers quarterbacking this team. But weirder things have happened. Next, we have the Cardinals and the 49ers. Popping up on the injury report this week was Kyler Murray. I don't know what the status of that is. I'm going to assume that he's going to be fine. Pass catchers are a little banged up right now for Arizona. The 49ers, I just don't know what to make them this year. They're such an enigma. But it's a division rivalry game. These always end up being different than what you would expect. They always end up being tougher, harder, closer than what you would expect because, they play each other twice a year. They know each other all too well. Still going to go with the Cardinals. I think a healthy Kyler Murray and this team are good enough to overcome any obstacles that they may have otherwise. Although, it's hard to say if Kyler Murray's not in this game. It's hard to envision the Cardinals winning, but I'm going to assume that he does play. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Next, we have the Titans and the Rams. Titans have lost Derrick Henry for the year. Their identity is gone. They signed Adrian Peterson. Big whoop. I don't think that that's going to matter. I don't remember the last time he played for the Detroit Lions last year. Hasn't looked the same, in the waning years of his career. I think the last time you could get some decent highlight footage from him would have been 3 years ago with the Washington football team. Either way, the Rams are in win now mode. They're loaded with talent. The only significant roster move other than the Von Miller trade was releasing Deshaun Jackson. But what difference does that make? Because they still have Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee. It doesn't matter. Deshaun Jackson was just one of those guys that was soaking up targets, and now he's out of the picture. So either way, the Rams are the better football team. Clearly winning now, clearly headed for the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Rams over the Titans, who are going to have to figure out who they are now that they don't have Derrick Henry. Last but not least, Monday Night Football. Steelers and Bears. Bears suck. Not good. Matt Nagy wasn't available for last week's game, and suddenly the offense was better. They were rolling out play action, utilizing Justin Fields' athletic ability. Who would have guessed? The Steelers are one of those teams that will not go quietly into the night, despite the inefficiencies that they face and the flaws that they have. And it's home field for them. It's Monday night, prime time. The place will be packed, cold weather. Although the Bears are not really unfamiliar with that sort of atmosphere. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say this, and I don't know why. This is the one weird pick that I'm gonna make this week. And that's all I have to say about that. So those are my choices. That is all of the picks that I have made for the week 9 of the NFL season. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree, disagree? Am I right? Am I wrong? We'll see how I do. Hopefully we do better than 5-10 because woof, I can't really afford to do that again with the way that my record is and how the rest of the season could wind up. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.